Welcome everyone. I'm Trish Connor Cato, and this is the Office Basics video course. The first part of the module covers Outlook, the email calendaring program from Microsoft. As with all applications, we'll be introduced to the interface and learn how to start a new message and add message recipients. We will ensure that spelling and grammar check happens automatically to avoid sending out messages with typos or poor grammar. We'll learn how to format message content and attach files and items to messages. Then we'll move on to tracking messages and how to use the recall and resend message feature of Outlook. Having organization in your Outlook mailbox is critical. As such, we will learn how to mark messages and how to organize messages using folders. We'll switch over to the Outlook calendar and learn how to schedule meetings and how to print the calendar. The last part of this course dives into Teams, Microsoft's chat-based collaboration platform. We'll start by gaining an understanding of the purpose of Teams. Then we'll learn how to navigate in Teams and set up a profile. We'll get into the Teams chatting feature by chatting with a colleague, having a group chat, making a video or phone call during a chat, sharing your screen, and sharing files via chat. Then we move into creating a team, which is a group of colleagues with a related purpose, creating a channel, which is a conversation board between teammates, so you can have different channels for different topics. And ultimately, we will create a post. We'll learn how to search for posts, files, and messages, and how to schedule meetings from Teams before ending with adjusting our notification settings. As mentioned, Module 2 begins with Outlook and ends with Teams. So we're going to get started with Outlook now. Our learning outcomes here are that you will be more efficient when managing a mailbox, and you'll be able to attach files in an email. And we'll get there by exploring these topics. We'll start by navigating the Outlook interface like we did with Excel and PowerPoint. We'll create a new message and add recipients. You'll learn how to set the system to automatically check your spelling and grammar when you go to send a message so you never forget. And you'll learn how to format the message content. We'll attach files and items to emails. You'll learn how to track messages, recall and resend messages, and mark messages. Then we'll get into organizing messages using folders, scheduling meetings on the Outlook calendar, and how to print the calendar. So I've already launched Outlook. I launched it from my taskbar. And again, you can go to your Office, your Windows button, or your search button to search for it and launch the application. So let's discuss the interface here in Outlook. So at the top, you have a search box, and underneath that, you have your ribbon, right? Outlook ribbon. You have your Home tab, Send and Receive tab, Folder tab, View tab. You may or may not have your Developer tab up there. You have a Help tab, and you may or may not have Acrobat. And you don't need Developer or Acrobat for what we're doing in here. I'm back on the Home tab. Underneath the ribbon here, I have a little bit of a quick access toolbar. And normally the quick access toolbar shows above the ribbon, right? But this one here, if I go to the down arrow next to it, I can tell it to show above the ribbon. So now it's above the ribbon. And that, of course, can be customized like any other Office program. On the left side of your screen, you have your folder pane, and I can minimize it by doing that left arrow at the top of it and expand it again by doing the right arrow. And then if I want it to stay open, I can pin the folder pane by using the push pin there. So it's back to the way it was when we came in here. So these are the folders that you have in your folder pane. Now on mine, I have a lot of folders underneath my inbox, and you'll learn how to do that. But your basic folders are here. I have multiple emails coming into, I actually have 3 different email addresses that come into this Outlook. So I have personal, and then I have this training one, as well as my main one. And so at the very bottom of the folder pane, you have the mail icon. We're in the inbox. You can get to your calendar from there. You can get to your contacts. You can get to your to-do list from there as well at the bottom. And then in the middle section, you have your mail. This is where your mail comes up, and you're seeing a little bit of a preview of all of the messages. And then over on the right, you have a preview pane. So if I click on any of the messages in my inbox, then I can actually see the message in the preview pane. I don't actually have to double click to open the message if I don't want to. So you have a little bit of a status bar at the very bottom. So it tells me I have 121 items right now in this particular inbox. And then over to the right, it lets me know all my folders are up to date. I'm connected. I have a couple of view buttons, normal view, which we're in, and reading view, which will expand the screen a little bit more, or it should. And then you do have a zoom slider over there. So that is your navigation, getting used to navigating in Outlook. I mean, you're going to use the ribbon, you're going to use the folder pane to switch to different things. So now we're ready to create an email message. So the first button on the home tab is new mail, or when you're sitting in your inbox, you can do Control and the letter N as in new to bring up a new mail window. And by the way, in Outlook, if I was in the calendar and I did Control N, it would bring me a new appointment window. So depending on where you are, you'll get a different result. So now I'm in this untitled message, right? And notice the ribbon has changed when you're in a message. It starts with the message tab, you have insert tab, options, format text, review, and help. So to address your message, you can simply type an email address. If the email is already in your contacts, it will pop up. So I'm going to type an email address here that is not in my contacts. And it's not even a real email address. It'll give me a suggestion, but that doesn't mean that it's a real email address. It just means that it's accepting it and it's formatted that way. So you can use an email even if the person is not in your contact list. I'm going to change that one. I want to address it to my training email, which is in my contacts, right? And so that one shows up with the little yellow icon on it because it's in my contacts and it's letting me know that that person is, free for the next 8 hours kind of thing. So that's because they're in my contact list and I can close that. So you should put a subject for your email. And this is going to be Outlook communication. And then you click in the body and you type your email. So I'm going to say, hello, Trish. This is an Outlook communication for the Learn It video course of Office Basics. And then I'll just type my name. I know it's weird sending it to Trish from Trish, but it's a different email address. And you have a message. Now, notice when we addressed the message to training, it put a colon after training. And that means I can just keep adding more recipients. If I wanted to put another email address up there, I can just click it there. Here's my recent people, but I can just click there and I can type another email address or start typing a contact name and pop it in there. So they just need to be separated by semicolons if you want to send it to multiple people. And so now I am actually going to click send. And notice that spell check happens automatically. I'm going to show you the setting to ensure that that happens automatically for you. If it's not happening right now, your message is already sent, but we want to get it set so that when you click send, spell check happens. So learn it is correct. So I'm going to just say ignore all, and it sent the message. Now, how do I know that it sent the message? Well, I can go to my sent items folder, and you can see that sent message there. Let me collapse all these groups and just expand today. So you can see my Outlook communication message has been sent. And I went back to my inbox. So everything you send goes into your sent items. I believe the setting is a default setting now, but I want to show you the setting that causes spell check to happen as soon as you click send on a message. So we're going to go to the File tab on the ribbon, and on the bottom left, we're going to go to Options. And in Outlook Options on the left, you're going to click on Mail. So this setting right here, always check spelling before sending, is what enables that. And you want to make sure that is checked. Otherwise, you would have to go within your message, you'd have to go to the Review tab before sending and check the spelling. This will make it happen automatically. So always check spelling before sending. And we can cancel out of Outlook Options. So since I sent that message to my other account, I want to show you what it looks like when I receive a new email. If I go to my inbox, I already clicked on it, but if I go to my inbox here, you'll see this email, right, that I sent from my other self. And I can just, with it being selected, I can look at it in the preview pane over on the right. I'm going to go back to my normal inbox. And we're going to do another new email. And I'm going to address it to my other self again. And by the way, you can send emails to yourself. I'm using a different account, but you can actually send emails to the account that you're sending an email from. And so I have it addressed. And the subject for this one is going to be format message content. And I'm going to type, please let me know the progress on the slideshow. Again, the presentation is scheduled for Tuesday, and I'd like it in my hands by Monday so I can rehearse. Thank you. All right. So when it comes to formatting message content, it's very similar to working in Word. I'm going to just select the text of my message. And right there on the message tab of the ribbon, you have your basic text group, right? You also have a format text tab on the ribbon, which has the basic text group. It's now called the font group, as well as all kinds of styles and other formatting things. You have your paragraph group there, as all of that kind of stuff. So in the font group, I'm going to just make the font italicized, right? I used the letter I. I could have done Control I there, right? And I want to make the font size a little bit larger, so I'm going to use the big letter A here to increase the font size, just one click. So that now it's 12 point. And I'm not going to give it a font color. Go ahead and make it bold as well. So something like that. So normal formatting, or you can use some styles and stuff. And I'm not going to use a style for this email, but just simple basic formatting, right? And I'm going to go ahead and send. And let's immediately do another new email. Address it to whoever you've been addressing them to, even if it's yourself, right? And this subject is going to be more formatting. And in the message, type the word Monday, press enter twice, and type review/rehearse presentation. Enter, enter. Tuesday, presentation day. Wednesday, feedback collected and analyzed. Thursday, and I'm just making this up off the top of my head, implement changes. Friday, present to company, something like that. And then what you're going to do is you're going to select Monday. Now, if you hold down your control key, you can go ahead and select Tuesday, Wednesday, and I'm double clicking on these days. You can double click a word to select it with my control key down, Thursday and Friday. And then we're going to go to the Format Text tab on the ribbon. And in the Styles group, hover over heading 1, and you'll see how it's impacting the days of the week in your message. Hover over heading 2, and it'll be like, yeah, that's a better one. So I'm going to give that a heading 2 style for those titles. And you can go ahead and send that message. So now we're going to create a new message, and we're going to attach the Excel file that we used in Module 1 to that message. Before we do that, I want to point out your indicator when you have new messages in your inbox. If you look at my inbox over here, you'll see that I have 2 unread messages. If I click on that inbox, those are the format message content and more formatting messages that we created and sent. If I click on more formatting, and I can read the message in the preview pane, and then I click on format message content, more formatting becomes marked as red. As soon as I move away from it, it will mark it as red. So now it says I only have 1 unread item in this inbox. And when I click away from format message content, that is marked as red. So now I don't have any new messages in that inbox. I'm going to go back to my main one, and we're going to do new email again, address it, and the subject is going to be Excel Essentials. Yeah, the subject is going to be Excel Essentials. The body of the message, I'm going to type, hi, I've attached the Excel Essentials file for your review. If there are any changes needed, I have to have them by Monday. Thanks. And then Trish. Now, there are 2 places where you can attach a file from. On the message tab, you have attach file, right? It also includes attaching an item, which we'll talk about separately. If the file is on OneDrive or SharePoint, you can get to those locations, or you can browse your computer. That's one place where you can attach. Or you can go to the Insert tab of the ribbon, and they have the Include group there. You have Attach File, and that gives you the web locations in your PC, but a separate item there is Outlook item. So I'm going to just use that Attach File, browse this PC, and I'm in the directory where I saved that Excel Essentials file, and I'm going to just double click it. So let's say I attached the wrong file. Right underneath the subject, you can see your attachment, and I could do the drop down arrow and choose remove it if I had double clicked the wrong file. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to leave it there. And now I'm going to send. Now let's go ahead and do another new email and address it. And the subject is going to be Outlook item. And I'm going to just type in the body, please review and let me know what you think. Thanks, Trish. I'm going to go to the Insert tab of the ribbon. And this time, instead of Attach File, I'm going to choose Outlook item. And so basically it's showing me stuff from my inbox, or I could navigate to different folders, right? So you can forward an email to somebody, but this is another way of getting an email to someone if you don't want to do the forward. So I'm going to just select from last week. I have this Microsoft Power Automate July newsletter is what I'm going to select, right? That's what I want. So I double clicked it, and it inserted it into this message. And we're going to go ahead and send. So it shows me I have the 2 unread items in my other mailbox. And when you get an email with an attachment, it will show the paper clip, right? So you'll see the paper clip that indicates it has an attachment. So I'm going to click on the Excel Essentials one. And one of the best pieces of advice I can give you when you're working in Outlook is if you receive an attachment and you need to keep it, get rid of it in your Outlook. So I'm going to go over to the preview pane. I'm going to do the down arrow next to Excel Essentials, and I can save. If I had 5 different files attached to this email, I could then save all attachments. So you want to get in the habit, and I'm going to just say save as, right? And I'm just going to throw it onto my desktop real quick. I don't want to put it in the same directory where I got it from. So I'm going to just put it on my desktop, save it there. And once I have it saved on my system, I can remove the attachment in Outlook. Large attachments can eat up the space in your inbox. So you want to get in the habit, if you need to keep an attachment, save it to your computer, and then remove it from the email. So I'm going to go to the drop down arrow, and I'm going to choose remove attachment. And I'm going to confirm that I'm removing it. And that way I still have the email, but I don't have the attachment. That attachment takes up space in my inbox. And so you have a limited amount of space, right? Depending on your organization setup. And what will happen if you start getting, to that limit, you won't be able to receive emails ultimately. So if you get in this habit, that will help you from getting to that limit as quickly as possible. So the Outlook item, this is the newsletter here, and I can save this as well, or I can just remove it once I open it and look at it. So I'm going to open it. I won't remove this one. I'll open it, and it shows me the newsletter, right? And everything. Now, notice that some of the like icons, the pictures are not showing. So up here, it'll give you this blue band if there's an issue. So you click there and you choose download pictures, and then you'll see that it looks better. And I'm going to go ahead and close that message. And so I'm going to save the changes. Yeah, it's not going to let me, but that's okay. So I'll just say no. And that's because we told it to download the pictures and stuff like that. I'm going to click away from that message so it's marked as read. And I'm going to go back to my main inbox. Go ahead and bring up a new message and address it. And the subject is going to be tracking a message. And I'm going to type, "Hi, would you please let me know if you can meet for lunch on Wednesday at Applebee's." I'll just put in Applebee's for this. Thanks, Trish. Now, for this one, we want to make sure that the recipient receives and reads the message. So we're going to go to the Options tab on the ribbon. And in the tracking group, we're going to request a delivery receipt and request a read receipt. So the delivery receipt really only means that the email hit the recipient's inbox, so it's in their inbox. The read receipt is supposed to track when the message has been read. It doesn't mean that the recipient read the message. So, when we click on a message and then go to another message, it marks the previous message as read. Well, did they really read it? That's the case. But anyway, you'll get a notification in either case. And we're going to go ahead and send. If your spell check comes up, I'm going to just add Applebee's to the dictionary. And so immediately, almost immediately, I get my delivered response, right? It hit my email, it hit the recipient's inbox. So you get that delivered message. Okay, great. I know it's in their inbox. Now I'm going to go to my other inbox and I'm going to actually reply to this message. And I'm going to say, absolutely, what time works for you? And I'm going to send it. When I go back to my other inbox, you'll see, well, it'll update in a moment. So I delivered my tracking message and I got my response, and I should get my read receipt as well, because it's marked as read. Now, another little thing, if you go to the send and receive, and you can do send and receive all folders, it does it periodically. I mean, when you send something, it initiates that process. But if you think something is stuck, you can click that send receive all folders, and it will sync everything. And if there's anything hanging out there, it will come through. So I'll let that send and receive process happen. It's still hourglassing for a minute. And I'm not sure why my system is being crazy right now, but I should have gotten a read receipt, which would say your message has been read by the following recipient, because that is marked as read. I don't know why that didn't happen. I hope it happened for you. But again, the delivery receipt only means it's in the recipient's mailbox. The read receipt would mean that they actually read the message. And again, I apologize, I can't get my read receipt to show up. Now we did that from within the new message window. If you want to track messages, all your messages, you won't have to go to that options tab and check the boxes if you set it up as a default. And I'm going to show you how to do that now. Let's go back to File, Options, and click Mail again on the left side. And you're going to scroll down. So notice we have different topics here: compose messages, Outlook panes. We're going to scroll down until we see track messages, tracking rather. And in track message, you can, for all messages sent, you can request a delivery and a read receipt here. And that way it will happen automatically all the time. If you want that enabled, go ahead and check those two boxes and click OK. I'm going to actually uncheck mine and click OK. So that way you won't have to do it on a message by message basis. It will always do that for all the messages that you send. So Outlook has another feature that we're going to learn about now. And this one is the recall or resend feature. Maybe you click send on an email accidentally and you weren't done typing it, or you send the email to the wrong person. As long as that person doesn't read the email, you will be able to recall it. Or another situation is you send out an email to a person, and then after you click send, you realize that you wanted to send that email to multiple people. So in that case, you can use the resend feature and either change the recipients or the content of the email. Now we're going to set up to do this now. Let's do another new email message and address it. And we're going to call this one recall email as the subject. And I'm going to type, this is a demo for the video course, and we will attempt to recall this email. And I'm going to click send. So it's saying you may have forgotten to attach a file. Sometimes this will pop up. Sometimes it's useful. Sometimes it's not. I didn't want to attach anything. I'm going to choose send anyway. Now, in order to try to recall that message, I'm not going to go to my other email and read it. I'm going to just make believe I haven't seen it. And I need to go from my inbox to my sent items. And then I'm going to open that recall email message in sent items and go to the file tab of the ribbon. And this is where you will find the message resend and recall features. So I'm going to click on resend or recall, and we're going to select recall this message. So it will tell you that some recipients may have already read this message. And if they haven't, right, you can tell it to just delete unread copies of this message, or you could delete unread copies and replace with a new message. We're going to leave it on delete unread copies of this message, and we're going to leave the box checked at the bottom. Tell me if the recall succeeds or fails for each recipient. So if I sent this to 10 recipients and 5 of them read it, it should be able to recall it from the 5 who haven't read it. And I'm going to click OK. So it lets me know in the sent item that I tried to recall this message, and it gives me the date and time. I'm going to go ahead and close that message, go back to my inbox up here, and it lets me know that I got a message recall success. So that message has been removed from my other inbox, right? Because I didn't read it in there, and that's why the recall was successful and I got that recall message. Now we'll do it again. Let's do another new email address it. And we'll call this recall message 2. We are going to attempt to recall this message and then send. This time, I'm going to go to my other inbox and I'm going to mark that message as read by clicking on it and away from it. So I've made it red. It's marked as red. I'm going to go back to my sent items folder and I'm going to open up the recall message 2. I'm going to go to the file tab, resend or recall, and I'm going to choose recall again. I'm going to leave the same options and click OK. I'm going to close that sent item, go back to my inbox, and you'll see that I got a message recall failure this time because it was already read. Now we're going to do another one. Let's do another new email here. Address it. And we're going to call this resend. And I'm going to type, I'd like to, and then make believe that my phone rings, somebody comes in the office, I get distracted, I need to switch to a different screen, and I actually accidentally on purpose click send. Okay, so in my sent items, I'm going to open up that resend message, go to the file tab, and I'm going to go to resend or recall again. And this time I'm going to choose resend this message. And so it gives me the option to add more recipients or finish the sentence. I'd like to finish typing this message contents. And then I can go ahead and send it. And I'm going to close the original sent item. And so if I go to my other inbox, I could have recalled the original one and then did a resend, but they're going to get both, right? So the I'd like to, and then this one. So recall and resend can be very handy for you. It's just not foolproof, meaning that if you send the message and somebody reads it or it's marked as read, you will not be able to recall it. So you have the ability to mark messages, important messages that you might need to follow up on, or, for a variety of reasons, you might want to mark your messages. You'll notice in my inbox, I have several messages in here that have these flags on them. And that's what happens when you mark a message. So I'm going to show you how to do this. I have a message in my inbox. You could do this on any message in your inbox. It doesn't matter. I'm actually going to go to my other inbox where some of the messages we sent are. And I'm going to hover over a message. And on the right side, when I hover over the message, when I see the flag, I'm actually going to right click on the flag. So I can set a flag for today, tomorrow, this week, next week, no date, custom, whatever, right? And so I'm going to say this Outlook communication, I want to take a look at this again next week. So I'm going to just put the next week flag on there, right? And for another message, the more formatting message. Now, if I just click on the flag, right? It just puts a flag. It didn't have just follow up, right? If I right click, then I get to say. So when I don't right click, it will give me the today flag. If I do right click, then I can choose next week or a custom option and thing like that, right? So one of the things I want to introduce here that will make it easier for you to find your flagged messages. And I'm going to kind of add this to the course. We're going to talk about search folders in a little while, and it'll be a great way for you to be able to get to all of your flagged messages quickly. So hold that thought. It's not like you're going to want to go through your inbox and scroll down to see every flag and then look at the flag to see what's going on with it, right? That's not how this is going to work. That's not very efficient. So you'll learn about search folders in just a little while, and then you'll be able to see how to get these flags in a cohesive manner. So marking messages is one way of organization, which you'll see when we learn about search folders. But another organization technique, the most typical one, is organizing using folders. So in my main mailbox, under my inbox, I have that expand arrow in front of it. I have a bunch of different folders, different topics. Some of them are clients, some of them are just like my LinkedIn stuff, my Microsoft stuff that comes in. And that way I can organize my messages. Now I'm going to show you how to set up folders underneath your inbox. So you can literally right click on inbox and choose new folder. And then you just type the name of the folder, and we're going to call this Office Basics. And it puts it in your folders list, mine because I had other folders there. It's in alphabetical order. And when I click on that folder, it's empty. I'm going to go back to my inbox, right? And I am going to just move these message recalls and the delivered one. I'm going to move those to that folder, right? So I can select the first one and just drag and drop it on top of Office Basics. I can select, I'm going to actually do the rest of these 3 for today. So I'm going to select the first one, hold down Shift and click on the last one for today. And I'm going to drag those to the Office Basics folder. So now those are not in my regular inbox anymore. They're in a subfolder of the inbox for organization purposes. Now, this is the tricky part, right? I have all of these different folders. And so if I get, and I have some rules set up. So if I get email from this particular client, the Netherlands, it goes directly into that folder. And then that folder will have the number 1 or 2, however many unread emails are in there. If you're going to use the folder structure, that's not going to be as efficient as it can be, because you don't want to have to go to each of your folders to read your mail items. And this is where search folders come in. So what I'm going to do is I just collapsed my inbox real quick. And you'll notice in your folder pane, you have search folders. I'm going to click on search folders. And I'm going to choose new search folder. So the one that I always recommend to people, well, there's a couple that I always recommend, but unread mail. So I'm going to just, that's already selected. I'm going to click OK. So now I have an unread mail folder. Right click on search folders and choose new search folder. And then I'm going to select mail flagged for follow-up and click OK. And then there's one more that I recommend. Right click on search folders, new search folder. And I'm going to say mail with attachments under organizing mail and click OK. So this is how this works. Let me get out of this with attachments. I'll just go back to my regular inbox first, right? So first of all, I have 5 things marked for follow-up here. If you want to, in your inbox, in this inbox, in your inbox, if you want to mark a few things for follow-up, then all of them can be accessed from this For Follow-up folder. So I don't have to look through my inbox to see everything with a flag, right? It's all in one folder. And then my unread mail. So I'm going to go to my other inbox and I'm going to send myself a new email. I'm just going to call it unread mail search folder and send. So one of the things that happens is that email came into my inbox and it's showing me I have one unread message in my inbox, but I have one unread message in unread mail. Unread mail is not just the inbox, it's any of the other folders that you created. So if I get something from the Netherlands and it goes into that folder and it's unread, or this land project that I'm managing, if that's unread, all I have to do is go to my unread mail to see all my unread messages. And I can handle them from within that unread mail folder, right? So if I open it and I close it, or even if I had replied to it, notice now I have no unread mail. It's marked as read. So when I click away from that folder and go back to it, there's nothing in there. So these are efficiency tools, your search folders. Doesn't matter what subfolder the stuff is coming into or resides in, your search folder is for everything in your mailbox. So any items that are flagged for follow-up will show up in that for follow-up search folder. All your unread mail will show up in your unread mail folder. And the reason why I recommend with attachments folder is because we talked about your mailbox capacity at some point, and I said, as you receive emails with attachments, if you need those attachments, you should save them to your system and then detach them from your email. Well, if you start getting that you're reaching your quota message in your email, you would want to find the emails that have attachments, and they would all be in your with attachments folder, so you can then detach and save and do what you need to do to gain more space in your mailbox. And so now we're going to switch our focus to the Outlook calendar. Now, one of the biggest complaints I hear from people about Outlook is, once I open the calendar, I can't see my email. Well, you actually can. So let's do it like this. We'll do it two ways. If you go down to the bottom of your folder pane and you have those icons, the second one is calendar. Click on it. And it takes you into your calendar. And now you just have your calendar open, right? Get rid of something in here. But you can't see your email. At the bottom of that pane, go back to the mail icon. And now you're back in your inbox. So these are like different views, right? The inbox, the calendar, but you can actually have both open at the same time. And this is how you do it. This time, right click on that calendar icon at the bottom and choose open in new window. So now I can have my calendar open and I can have my inbox open. And if you have multiple screens, you can have one on one screen, one on the other. So that's how I normally work in here. So we're in the calendar, and I'm going to show you how to set up a meeting in the calendar. So I'm going to say today is Thursday the 21st. I don't know what date you're watching this, but I'm going to just go to the next day, right? And so Friday in the 11 a.m. slot is where I'm going to click here on my calendar. And so Friday at the 11 a.m. slot, I am going to go up to the ribbon and choose new meeting. So the title is going to be reviewing presentation. And I am going to invite my other email. So the email I've been emailing all the time, right? So it'll be me and that person. And I'm going to set it for an hour. So I did the drop down and changed it to 1 hour there. And I can type in something like, let's finally get some resolution on this presentation. So I have some text in there. Now I can also attach a file. I'm going to go to the Insert tab and choose Attach File. I'm going to browse my PC, and I'm going to grab that PowerPoint Essentials slide presentation that we made in Module 1 and attach it. So then I'm going to do Send. So I don't have a location. I'm going to say Don't Send. Sometimes you set up locations, right? Like I have some location set up in here. I'm going to just type in my office as a location. And then I'm going to send. Okay. So the meeting immediately shows up on my calendar. The name of the meeting, where it's going to be held, and it has the paper clip letting you know that it has an attachment. So I switched back to my inbox window, right? And I went to my other account, and in the inbox, sure enough, here's the meeting invitation. So when I click on it here, right, it shows me that the meeting is going to be on this date at this time, and I can accept, I can tentatively accept, or I can decline. This meeting is not on this calendar until I accept it. So let me just do this a little bit clearer. I'm going to switch back to my calendar, right? And this is the calendar for my primary email address. If I go to my calendar for my other email address, right, this is kind of on there tentatively because I've been invited, but if I hover over it, it tells me it has not been accepted. So it's kind of like a placeholder, but until I accept it, it won't really be on my calendar. So I'm going to go back over to my email window. And in that message, I'm going to go ahead and accept. And I'm going to I can send a note with my acceptance or just send the response now. And so that meeting email disappears from my inbox once I accept it, or if I had declined it, whatever. If I declined it, it wouldn't show on my calendar at all. So now I'm going to go back over to the calendar. And you can see that this is the person who invited, who set up the meeting. This is the person who is attending. So it's on that calendar, their calendar as well. If they declined it, it would not be on their calendar and it would disappear from the inbox as well. So that's kind of how you schedule a meeting. I'm going to close this other calendar. Now, what's the difference between a meeting and an appointment in Outlook? Well, a meeting involves more than one person and you invite people to a meeting. With an appointment, it's just you on your calendar. So Friday at 2 p.m., I'm going to just type directly on the calendar and I'm going to say off early today, exclamation point. So something like that. Just a note for myself that I'm off early at 2 o'clock. I'm out is basically what it's saying. Didn't ask me to invite anybody, right? If I double click on a time slot on the calendar, it opens up the appointment. And this is just an appointment. It doesn't have a meeting. Now I can make it into a meeting, right? By clicking invite attendees, and then it becomes a meeting like you saw before. And I'm going to just get rid of that. And sometimes you may want a paper printout of your calendar, and you can do that as well. So I'm going to just go Control P. That's the print shortcut key. And I'm in the calendar. So it takes me to print preview, right? And notice on the left, it's showing, it has the weekly agenda style is the default style. So I'm seeing a weekly agenda style. You can look at daily style and see what that looks like. Weekly calendar style. You have monthly style. And I used to be in the habit of printing my calendars. I used to print monthly calendars because I was doing 100% business travel and I wanted to see all that stuff on a monthly calendar. So I'm going to leave it on monthly calendar, and then you would simply print. Now, some other things before you print. You can go to print options, right? And it's carrying over the style that you have, monthly calendar, right? Monthly style. And I can print a range. So I might want from July to September. So I'm going to change my start date to July 1st. And I'm going to change the end date to September 30th. And then if I click preview, down at the bottom, you'll see that it has one of 3 pages. There's July. If I go to the next page, there's August. And then there's September, and that's what I would get if I were to print. We can do the back arrow at the top to get back into your Outlook calendar, and you can actually close that calendar window because you had your inbox open in another window. Now, I want to show you one other thing, an integration between your email and your calendar. So let's do this. Let's do one more new email message. And actually, I'm in the wrong account, but I can change it here from, okay. No, Trish. I'm going to send it to my other account. And the subject is going to be, let's do working dinner on, and I'll just pick a date. I'll say July 26th, and I'll do a question mark. Let's try to meet on the 26th for a working meeting, for a working dinner at, and I'll put, we'll put Olive Garden for this one. I don't know. My restaurant game is not very good. I mostly cook. So let's try to meet on the 26th for a working dinner at Olive Garden. And I'm going to just go ahead and send it. Now, this is really cool. I'm going to right-click on my calendar icon at the bottom of the folders pane and open it in a new window again. And then I'm going to arrange these windows side by side. Let me get my inbox on this side. Okay. So I just received an email in my other account, right? My inbox there. Working dinner on July 26th. So I would apply to that email and say yay or nay or something like that, right? But I know I'm going to go. So, and I have my calendar open on one side of my screen. In my calendar, I'm going to navigate to the following week by using this right arrow. And I can see the 26th. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to click and hold on this email, and I'm going to drag it to the calendar on the 26th at around 6 p.m. and drop it. So it creates an appointment with the name of the email subject line and the contents of the email in it, which is really cool, right? And then for location there, I'll just type Olive Garden. And instead of replying to the email, I'm actually going to turn this into a meeting and just invite the person who wants to do this. So I'm going to go up and I'm going to do invite attendees, and I'm going to put in my other person and then send it. So it shows up on my calendar, right? And I should have made it like longer. I'm going to double click it on my calendar, and I'm going to change the end time to like 8 o'clock. And then I'm going to send an update. So because I already sent it and then I changed it, it's going to get an update. So here is, I'll go back to my other inbox, right? Oh, this is where they accepted reviewing the presentation. So they should get an email inviting them to that dinner, which will be added to their calendar. Eventually, it'll come through eventually. So that's kind of how that works. You can drag an email onto your calendar and have all the details right there instead of having to retype them. And I think that's just a cool thing to know. So that completed the first part of Module 2, Outlook 2021. And just by way of review, at this point, you should be more efficient when managing your mailbox. You know how to do folders, search folders, how to flag messages, all of that stuff. And you can attach files in an email. Those were the two main learning outcomes. You got a lot more than that out of this segment. The final topic in this Office Basics video course is collaborating with teams. The learning outcomes are using call, video conference, and screen sharing features, as well as setting up collaborative teams and topic channels. And we'll get there by covering these topics. We'll begin by understanding the purpose of teams, and then how to navigate in teams, and setting up your profile. Then we'll move on to chatting with a colleague, group chats, making a video phone call during a chat, sharing your screen, and sharing files via chat. You'll also learn how to create a team, create channels, create a post, searching for posts, files, and messages, scheduling a meeting from Teams, and we'll review notification settings. Let's start by gaining an understanding of the purpose of Teams. So Microsoft Teams is a persistent chat-based collaboration platform complete with document sharing, online meetings, and many more extremely useful features for business communications. Let's talk about teams and channels. You can have multiple teams. Think of them as work groups. So you and related colleagues will be members of particular teams. And teams are also made up of channels, which are conversation boards between teammates. So think of channels as like different topics. Maybe you have a team of colleagues and you're working on two separate projects that would have two separate channels. You can have conversations within channels and teams. And all team members can view and add to different conversations in the general channel and can use the @ function to invite other members to different conversations. The basic chat function is commonly found within most collaboration apps and can take place between teams, groups, and individuals. You have online video calling and screen sharing capabilities. So a lot of my remote trainings are via Microsoft Teams, and I'm able to share my screen and the students are able to see it and follow along with what I'm doing. And then you have the online meetings feature, which can enhance your communications, can be used for company-wide meetings, and even trainings with online meetings. Online meetings can host up to 10,000 users. They can include anyone that's inside or outside of your business. And online meetings also includes a scheduling aid, a note-taking app, file uploading, and in-meeting chat messaging. And there's one thing that's not on this slide that can also be included in Teams, and that is audio conferencing. Now, I don't have audio conferencing set up for my company and team. I don't need it, and you would have to be the admin to set that up. But it's a feature that you won't find in many collaboration platforms. With audio conferencing, anyone can join an online meeting via phone with a dial-in number that spans hundreds of cities. Even users that are on the go can participate with no internet. And it requires additional licensing and setup, like I said, by an administrator. So that is the general purpose of Teams. Let's get working in it. So I've launched Teams from my taskbar. I have the desktop application of Teams on my computer versus the online Teams. And when I go into Teams, let's do a tour of the environment. I'm going to start on the left side of the screen, and you have this navigation panel, and I can click on activity. And so it shows my feed at that point, and I'll see mentions, replies, and other notifications there. If I do the drop down where it says feed, I can go to my activity, and I'll see my sent messages there. Now, after activity, you have chat, and this is where you'll see all of your chats, right? And then I have teams. And I actually have two teams in my Teams, the team for my company, and then I have a project that I'm working on in here as a team. Then you have your calendar, your Teams calendar. And notice, if you did the Outlook portion of this course, on the calendar, I put a couple of appointments when we were doing Outlook, and they show on my Teams calendar. I can schedule meetings for Teams in Outlook, or I can schedule them from the Teams calendar, and I'll show you how to do it both ways. And when we get to that part, I'll show you which way I prefer. And then you have calls. So if you have that audio conferencing set up, you can receive phone calls, and your call history will show here. If it's set up, you can get voicemail messages into that number. People can call using that number for meetings and stuff like that. So if you're going to have that set up, you'll have your calls, you have your phone calls, and then you would have your contacts on the other tab. Then you have files. So it shows recent files that you used, right? It could be files from cloud storage. It could be files that are on your computer. These are going back. I'm going to come in and clean some of these up, right? You can get to your downloads from here. So you're looking at recent. Then I have Microsoft Teams as another category here. So these are files that were used in Teams. Then I have downloads, if any, if I've had any downloads in here, and then I can get to my OneDrive cloud storage from in here as well. Underneath files, you have an ellipsis for more added apps. So you have a bunch of apps that can integrate really well with Teams. You have Excel, you have a Wiki app, OneNote, Tasks, Power BI, all kinds of different apps, Word, that you can use. And there's even more apps down here. So this is how you get to all of the apps that you can gain access to. You can even have YouTube, ArcGIS maps if you're doing that. You have various polls that you can use. So it's very app integration friendly. And now, so we were on the ellipsis, and then we went into more apps. So now we're on apps down here. And then you have a help button at the bottom where you can get topics, training, what's new, suggest a feature, as well as give feedback. So at the top of your screen, you have a search. So you can, if you click in the search box at the very top of your screen, you can look for messages, files, and more. Or you can type the slash there and you'll get more commands, right? So if I type the slash and I go to chat, I can send a quick message to a person. Or if I type files or go to files, I can see my recent files. So it has that slash integration as well. Over to the right of the search box, you'll see a settings ellipsis that says settings and more. So we'll review settings a little bit later, but I have Google Chromecast, right? So I'm on my computer screen, but I could literally cast this to one of my TV screens if I want to. We'll come back and review these a little bit later. And after you look at that ellipsis, to the right of it, you'll see your initials. And if you click on that, that's your profile. You can get into managing your account and stuff like that from there. And then you have your traditional window operations button, minimize, maximize, restore, so on and so forth. So one of the first things you may want to do when you start working in Teams is setting up your profile. So I'm going to go up and click on my initials in the upper right-hand corner. And I'm going to click on my initials again. Now, if you have a photo that you want to use as your profile photo on your system, that's what I'm getting ready to do. I have a picture on my desktop that I'm going to put as my profile photo. So I'm going to click on my initials and I'm going to upload the picture. Now, if I put a picture in here for Teams, it's going to be the same picture that shows in my other Office apps. So I'm going to just select this photo that I chose on my desktop, and then I'm going to do save. And once it's saved, I'm going to close that, and you can see my picture instead of my initials up there now. We're going to go back to our picture or initials if you didn't put a picture in. Click on that again. And underneath that, it says, it has your email, your name, email. Then it says available. Do the drop down where it says available. So I can set myself, right now I'm available, but I can say that I'm busy. I can say do not disturb, be right back. If I step away, I can be sitting at my desk working, but appear as though I'm away. And I can also appear as though I'm on offline. So that's your availability. And then to the right of that, you have set status message. Go ahead and click on that. So you don't have to use the @ to mention someone in your status, but you could, or you could just type a status message if you want. When you have a status message, you can have it show when people message you in Teams, and you can clear your status message after today or never, couple of hours, this week, or custom. You can also schedule your out of office from in here. So I'm going to just put in a status message saying, I'm going to do an @ mention for my other account. And I'm just typing in a message. My other person, I hope you're having a wonderful week. It has been awesome on my side of this operation. I could do that. I'm not going to show it when people message me. Well, I'll do that. I'll check that box. And I'll just do done at the bottom. You can always go back and edit your status message. And I'm going to just click away from that. So now we're ready to explore the chat feature. And before we do so, look under your search box. At the top of your screen, it says your status message is showing in chat and channels when people message or mention you until 11:59 p.m. And I can change the status from there, from that link at the end as well. On the left side, we're going to go to chat. And at the top, this is your new chat button. This icon here is a filter, right? So here's your new chat button. And when you click it, you enter a name, an email, a group, or a tag. I'm going to put in my other self. So that's who it's to. And then it shows my automated message because I did my status before in here, right? So that was because this person was mentioned. It's showing up in here. But I'm going to go ahead and click and type a new message. And I'm going to say, do you have time now for a quick chat? And I'll say about James. I don't know who James is, but I'm just making it up. So do you have time now for a quick chat about James? And underneath it, you'll see that you have all of these icons. I can format, I can set the delivery options, I can attach items to a chat, looping components. You have a bunch of emojis and GIFs and stickers that you can add. You can schedule a meeting from here. You can get to stream from here. You can give praise, approvals, all kinds of stuff. Viva Learning, updates, and then there's more, right? We just want to send a chat. So we're going to use the send button, and it shows up on our screen. Now, I have Teams open as my other self on my other computer. So my other self just replied, I sure do. And you can see that reply in this chat, right? Right there. And I can maximize my chat window if I just want to focus on that kind of thing. So pretty cool, just chatting back and forth. And you have two people in your chat, yourself and the other person. So now I'm chatting with the colleague. They have time for a quick chat about James. And I'm going to type a message back, and I'm going to say, I'm going to include, and I'll just make up a name, Teresa, in this chat as well. And I'll go ahead and send that to my other self, right? So you're getting the ones that you send are on the right side of the screen. The ones that you're receiving in the chat are on the left side of the screen. So now if I want to include someone else in this chat, I can go up here. So let's talk about the icons in the upper right corner of your chat screen. I can go from here to a video call or an audio call. I can do screen sharing from in here, and I can also add people to the chat. I'm going to click on add people. And when I do that and I type the letter T, right, it brings up my contacts. I have another self and it's external. So I'm going to choose my external self and create. So this is me, my training self, and my external self. Now it is a group chat with all three people in it. And it's like a new conversation here, right? So this is how you do a group chat. You can be in a regular chat, just go and add more people, and now you're in a group chat. And so I'm going to type, what do you think should be done about James at this point? And I'm going to go ahead and send it. And so from my other computer, I responded from my training account. James has been awesome. I think he has taken initiative and should be promoted. I'm sure he can manage the team. My external one, I'm not going to go to my external one and log in and reply, but you can have many people in a group chat just chatting back and forth. All right. And I'll just do a reply here saying, thanks for your feedback. I'm on the same page, and send that one. So one thing I want to point out, one of the users that I added to this chat is an external user, meaning outside of my organization. When I did that, that disabled the video and audio call and screen sharing features for this chat. So you need to kind of be aware of that. Based on Teams settings, external users may not have those abilities. So it disabled it. Now, the other thing I want to point out here, if I look at my external user, here's Trish, right? It has the offline symbol to the left of it. So that user is offline. Training is available. My other user is available here with the green check mark, right? And I could actually name this group chat. So I'm going to click that little pencil icon and I'm going to call it Teams Video Course. That's just what I'm going to name it. Teams Video Course. So you can see that name update there. Now, the other thing I'm going to do, because I maximized this window, I'm going to just restore the window and I'm going to close the chat. Now, I can open this chat again. It's sitting right here. It's my top chat, right? It's top of the list. I can open this chat again. If I want to pop it out into a new window, I can use that arrow and it does it. And then I'm going to close that window. So now I'm going to go to the second chat on my list. So your most recent chat will be at the top of the chat list. The second one is the first one we did before we did the group chat. And this one, since both of the people in this chat are in my organization, I have access to the video, audio call, and screen sharing features. Now, I'm not going to be able to do an audio call. Again, my organization does not have a phone number set up for that, but we're going to do a video call. So we're chatting and I'm going to just type a message and I'm going to say, I'm going to transfer us to video. And I'll go ahead and send that. And then I'm going to do it. I'm going to click on the video icon. Okay, so we're going to get some kind of feedback here. I had to mute my other computer to make the feedback go away. So what you were hearing before I muted it is I was calling my colleague and they answered the call. That was the ringing sound that you were hearing. You're just hearing it from my microphone as well as from my other computer. So I muted the other computer. Now on my screen, I have my camera on and I can see the little mini me, right? And while I'm here, I could do something like share my screen. So I'm going to go ahead and click on the share button. And I can see my screens in different windows that I have open, right? So I'm going to go to my screen. And now you're seeing like the desktop screen, right? You're just seeing some folders on my screen. And I'm going to stop sharing that. I'm going to go back to share. And because I have Teams, I'm going to have to move my Teams first. Pardon me. 1 second here. Yeah, I had to move some windows around. So now I'm going to click on share again. And I can see the screen where I have that Excel file open from the Excel portion of this course. And now I am able to share that screen. And I'm looking at my other computer and that's what it's showing on that screen as well, because I'm sharing it. When you're sharing a screen, it puts a red border around the screen, so you're aware that you're sharing. And you get this presenting toolbar going across the top, right? So I can give control if I allow it in my organization. I can give control to a user, somebody else. I can do annotations, and I can stop presenting. And so that's kind of how the share feature works. You can share different screens. Now I'm going to bring my Teams back up and bring it back over to this screen. So now you're seeing me share my Teams screen, right? And I'm going to click on the share button to say stop sharing. So now in the recording that I'm doing for the video course, you're still seeing my Teams screen, but I'm not sharing it now. It's just in the video. And so I also can bring up the chat by using chat up here, and it brings up the chat. And so we're seeing the chat that we were in from which I generated the video call, right? So I'm seeing that chat, and I can continue to chat here. And I'm going to type, how's the video quality on your end? And press enter. That's kind of how that works, right? And I just responded from my other account. Great. And then you can mute your mic when you're in Teams. You can turn your camera off if you don't want to be on screen, and then it will just show your profile pic, right? And that type of thing. If you want to make sure that you look good before you turn your camera on, if you hover over the button, you'll see a preview, a private preview of what you look like. And you can put background effects and stuff on it if you'd like. So when you're done with your video call, you can click leave to get out of it. And that's what I am going to do. I'm going to leave the call. And then I can minimize Excel. And so even though I don't have the capability of doing phone calls from here, only video calls, if I go over on the left to my calls, I'll see that outgoing call. Even though it was a video call, it will still show here in the log on the phone. And then I'm going to go back to chat on the left. You can also share a file via chat. So I'm now on what's now the top chat in the list, the one where we did the call from. And underneath where it says type a new message, I'm going to click on the paper clip, and I'm going to choose upload from my computer. I could go to OneDrive, but I'll upload from my computer. And on my desktop, I have that Excel file. So I'm going to just grab that, and then I'm going to send. So you can actually share files via chat as well, and you get the notification down here that you shared Excel, so on and so forth. And I just shared a file from my other account with this account, so I just uploaded another file there so you can see how it comes in. So you can share files via chat as well. So now we're going to go ahead and create a team. I don't believe there's a limit to the number of teams you can have in Teams. So on the left side, I'm going to go to Teams, and I already have my 2 teams. Down at the bottom, you'll see join or create a team, and I'm going to click there. So I'm going to choose create team, and I'm going to just do it from scratch instead of using a template. I can make it private, so people will need permission to join. Public, anyone in my organization can join. Or org-wide, everyone in my organization automatically joins, right? So I'm going to leave it on private. Well, let's do public. Anyone in your organization can join. And right now, we're going to give it a team name of Learn It Video course. And the description is, this is how you create a team in Teams. And then you're going to click the Create button. So let you know you created it, you got good job and all of that. And now you can add members, right? So I could type a name, a distribution list, a security group. I can also add people to this team outside of my organization as guests. So I'm going to go ahead and add an in-person, in-organization person and an outside organization person. And then I'm going to click Add on the right. And then I'm going to close. And of course, I'm a member of the team because I created the team. So when you get a team, when you create a team, it gives you the general page, right, which shows some posts. You can add more people. You can create more channels. You can open the frequently asked questions. If you look up at the top, there's Files tab. So you can actually upload files to the team. So everybody in the team has access to those files. I'm going to go ahead and upload files. And I'm going to upload the Excel essentials and the PowerPoint essentials from earlier in Module 1 into this team. So it lets me know. This is just like OneDrive. It's uploading 2 items, right? Lets me know that I'm doing that. It kind of looks like OneDrive. It also looks like SharePoint, right? So all of the Office integration is here. It really does. And so everybody that has access to this team will be able to see those files. Now, a wiki page is kind of like used for documenting stuff. So you can create multiple wiki pages and you can add images to them. I did a training several years ago, and it was for a sheriff's department, and they used their wiki to document the proper procedures for arresting somebody. And they had pictures and videos and stuff like that as a resource for their internal team. We are going to go back to post, and we're going to create, so we have that general is really a channel, right? That's a channel. It's an open forum discussion board for team members. We can create more channels. So click on Create More Channels. And we'll just name it For Video. And the privacy, everyone on the team has access, is the standard privacy setting, right? Or you could say only specific teammates have access, and you'd have to give them access to it. We're going to leave it on standard. And we're going to say automatically show this channel on everyone's channel list so they don't have to go searching for it. And then we're going to add. So different channels for different conversation topics for your team. On a general channel, I'm going to go to the bottom and select New Conversation. And I'm going to just type, our channels are completed. And you can press enter, by the way, to post. You don't have to click the button, you can post. So that shows up, right, on the general channel under post. And I can go to the For Video channel and do a new conversation. And I'm going to type, the Office Basics video course has lots of great information and techniques. And enter. And you can see that my other self replied to my post here. And when I hover over their reply, I get these little, I can give thumbs up, all these little emojis, just give a thumb up to it. And that shows on their end as well. And now we're going to use the search feature in Teams. Let's go up to the search box and click and type Excel. And as you're typing Excel, you'll see the top hits, the files, the apps, all that kind of stuff. And if we wanted to find where that file was, I can click directly on the file. And what it's going to do is it's going to open it in kind of like an Excel interface right here, so I can see the details of that file. That's kind of how that works. And I can use the back button up here, right, to go back. Now let's go up to search and type James and press enter. And it brings up the messages where the word James is, or the name James is. It tells you there's no files and no people by that name, but it found 3 messages for that search result. So you can see that search is pretty powerful. On the right side of the search box, do the X. And then just a reminder, type your slash there, because you have that everything that you can use by using the slash. So you can slash and then go to keys, and you can look at all the keyboard shortcuts that can be used in Teams, for example. And you're going to go ahead and close that. And I'm just going to go back over to Teams on the left, or I could have actually gone to Calendar, because that's where we're going to go next to get rid of the search results. So let's go ahead and click on Calendar on the left. And let's navigate to the following week. And you can see that working dinner on July 26th Olive Garden thing that I put on there from Outlook. Let's go to Monday the 25th and 10 a.m. slot and click on it. So it comes up with new meeting, right? And you're on the details tab. And there's a scheduling assistant tab. Once you have your requirees in here, your required attendees, you can see their schedule if they're in your organization. So I'm going to go back to details first. And I'm going to say the name of this meeting is Follow Up Learn It Office Basics Course. I'm going to go down to add required attendees and put in my other self that's within my organization. And we'll make it a 30-minute meeting. That's the default, right? And so it's going to be from 10 to 10:30. It gives you some suggested 30-minute blocks. And this is based on schedules for myself and this other person. It's not a recurring meeting. It doesn't repeat. I can add a channel to the meeting. So I'm going to add the Learn It video course for video channel to the meeting. Location, it's going to be an online meeting, so that's fine, a Teams meeting. And down at the bottom, I have a text box, details for the next meeting, and I'll type in review what was learned in Excel, PowerPoint, Outlook, and Teams. And then I'm going to go ahead and, well, we could take a look at the scheduling assistant at the top, right? So this is, I'm viewing my work hours, so it's only going to show working hours. It's showing that our current status for both attendees is available. And it doesn't look like there's any conflicts for that time frame, so I'm good. I'm going to go back to details. Now, you can see response options here. Request responses, allow forwarding. If you send a Teams meeting request to someone and they forward it to someone else, you will get an email letting you know that it was forwarded. And I'm not requiring any registration. So I'm going to just send it. So it will show up on my Teams calendar once it's finished loading. And once it's on my calendar, on the day of the meeting, I can come in here and click on it and just join the meeting. That's how that kind of works. Now, I'm going to switch over to my Outlook calendar and show you something, because you've already seen that the two are integrated with each other. So let me just bring up my Outlook calendar and show you this. And so in Outlook, it's on my calendar in there as well. And in Outlook, I can double click it and I can click here to join the meeting, right? So that's kind of how that works. Now, I can also schedule meetings from Outlook. And to be honest with you, I normally schedule all of my meetings, including Teams meetings, from Outlook. And I'll show you the reason why. So I'm going to just do this one. I'm going to set it for 1 o'clock on Monday the 25th. And on the Outlook calendar ribbon, I'm going to choose Teams meeting. So both of these, this Teams meeting group, Meet Now instantly will give you an instant team meeting that you can invite people to. If I want to schedule it, new Teams meeting. So this is a little bit different than doing it in Teams, right? So I'll give this I'll just call it Review Apps. And I'll invite my other self as required. You can invite optional people, right? And we'll leave it at a half hour. Now, what I like about doing it in Outlook, like I can put text down here, I can type stuff in, but I can also attach documents if I wanted to, which I can't do in Teams at this point. So I can go up to Insert and I can attach a file to the invitation, right? And I'll just attach this PowerPoint one. And I don't have the capability of attaching a file to a Teams invite in Teams. So I'm going to go ahead and send this. It shows up on my calendar, Microsoft Teams, and it says Microsoft Teams meeting when I schedule it from within Outlook, right? And if I go back, it's still sending it, the invitation out. But if I go back to Teams, get out of here, go away from my calendar, come back to my calendar, navigate to next week, and it shows on my Teams calendar as well. And last but not least, we're going to go over notification settings in Teams. So I'm going to go up to the settings and more ellipsis to the left of my profile picture. And I'm going to go into settings. Okay, so you have all different types of settings. So the default theme in Teams is what we've been looking at, the white background with the blue borders and everything. You can have a dark theme, high contrast theme. You can change your chat density back here. And this is just on the general tab. So I'm going to do a little bit more than just notification settings here. If you want Teams to start automatically when you go into Windows, you can auto start the application. I've registered Teams as my chat app for Office, and you would have to restart Office applications for that, right? You can have a new chat open in a new window or in the main window. I like doing it in a new window. You could set your languages and stuff like that. And I also have spell check enabled. And once you enable that, you would have to restart Teams for it to take effect. I can schedule my out of office stuff from here, and I'm getting suggested replies showing in my chat, which could be helpful. You have all of these other categories on the left. Let's go to notifications. So if I've missed any activity emails, right, it checks once per hour here, right? I can change that or turn it off. I have my notification style, which is Teams built in. I show message preview, and I can play that sound for incoming calls and notifications. So you heard that sound when I was doing the call, the video call from my other computer. You heard the ringing sound. So then you have your teams and channels. You will get desktop and activity notifications for all activity, mentions and replies, or custom. So if I click on custom, you can see what I'm getting notifications for here. I'll get a banner and a feed. The banner shows up in the lower right corner of your screen. It's like a pop-up, right? I don't want to be notified there's a new post in in this channel or any channel, right? So I have that off. And then I'll get a banner and a feed as opposed to only showing feed or off for any time I'm mentioned in this channel. You want to be notified. So you'll get a pop-up. If you're working in Outlook, you'll see the banner pop up and stuff like that. So you get to control your notification settings. We can go back to settings, and I would encourage you to go through some of your other settings, like the file settings. Always open Word, PowerPoint, and Excel files in Teams. When we opened that Excel file, it opened it in Teams when we selected that Excel file that we put in here. So that's why that's happening. Go ahead and do the X on your settings. And that concludes this module. So just to recap what we covered in the Teams portion of this, we weren't able to use the call feature because I don't have audio conferencing set up, but you saw where the phone icon is. If you do have it set up, you can place the call that way. We used video conferencing and screen sharing features. We also set up collaborative teams and topic channels. I'd really like to thank everyone for viewing this Learn It video course on Office Basics. Again, my name is Trish Connor Cato, and it's been my pleasure recording this video for you. Just going to take a few moments to recap what was covered in this course. We started out with Outlook, and we were introduced to the interface. We learned how to start a new message and add message recipients. We ensured that spelling and grammar check would happen automatically as soon as we click send on a message. We learned how to format message content and attach files and items to messages. Then we moved on to tracking messages, and you learned about the recall and resend message features of Outlook. You also learned how to flag messages and also how to organize messages using folders. And you saw all of the folders I have under my inbox folder for organization purposes. I also introduced you to a few search folders, which gives you more efficient use of your mailbox. Then we went over to the Outlook calendar. You learned how you could have the calendar and your inbox windows open at the same time. And you learned how to schedule meetings from your calendar and how to print the calendar. And then we got into Teams. We started out by getting an understanding of the purpose of Teams, and then we learned how to navigate it in it. We set up our profile, or we added a picture. We checked our status message and our availability. And then we started using the chatting feature by chatting with a colleague. Then we added on and had a group chat, and we were able to make a video call during the chat and share the screen. We also shared files via chat. Then we created a team, and we created an additional channel other than the general channel that comes with a team. And we created some posts in those channels. We moved on to searching for posts, files, and messages, and you learned about that backslash that you can use to search for a bunch of different things. And we learned how to schedule meetings from the Teams calendar, as well as from our Outlook calendar. And with Outlook, again, you can attach files to the Teams meeting invite. And then we reviewed Teams settings. Again, thank you for your attention, and I hope that you will view more videos out here for Learn It.